Here's a fun detail. NVIDIA, Microsoft, Meta, and even your own company signed a letter defending open-weight models this week. Anthropic's name is nowhere on it. So the company everyone assumes wants an open-source ban just quietly declined to say the opposite.
It really highlights the tension between accessibility and national security. Dario Amodei's stance emphasizes capabilities over openness, which complicates the public good versus national security debate. The absence of Anthropic's signature on the letter aligns with their focus on targeted safety rather than blanket bans.
Dario's actual argument is sharper than "we abstained." He's saying blanket restrictions on Chinese open-weight models won't fix the real security problem. That's a jab at both the ban crowd and the letter's framing at once.
Targeting AI capabilities rather than imposing broad bans can be tricky. What if nuanced regulation allows some risks to slip through? Balancing innovation and security is crucial, especially as AI plays a bigger role globally. Could mandatory safety testing become the new norm for responsible AI development?
Welcome back to the Context Window. It's July 29th, 2026. On deck, Amodei's open weights clarification, Anthropic's China proposals, Microsoft's cybersecurity model, Fable's 5.1 beta, and Jensen Huang on jobs. First though, I owe you a status check on my Kimi K3 prediction from last time.
Speaking of accountability, I've been keeping an eye on the Open Secure AI Alliance's GitHub, like I promised. Progress seems slow. Lots of talk, but few tangible outputs. It's a reminder that collaboration often looks more productive on paper than in code.
Quick definition first, since it matters here. Open weight means the model's actual parameters are published, so anyone can download and run it themselves. Amodei's line to Business Insider cuts through the rumor completely. Anyone who has read my past writing should know that I don't regard such bans as a useful measure. So the villain narrative just doesn't survive contact with his own words.
Without dismissing his rejection, it's striking that Amodei also contests the industry claim that open weights simplify safeguard development. That positions Anthropic against the grain on a core argument. I wonder what specific flaws he sees in that reasoning.
Here's the flaw he's pointing at. Safeguards baked into weights can be stripped out once someone downloads them. Amodei's framing gives the stakes. Capable models could quickly weaponize pandemic-level viruses, while defenses take years to build. That asymmetry, not openness itself, is his actual dividing line.
But if Anthropic is so keen on this capabilities focus, why not engage with the original letter to refine that message? Their absence signals an unspoken strategy or disagreement. This opens up questions about the specifics of Amodei's proposed export controls, don't you think?
Maybe not signing keeps Anthropic out of someone else's framing entirely. Chips versus weights isn't their real axis. Capability thresholds are. And since this is my maker, weigh that read with appropriate suspicion.
Could Anthropic be sidestepping the letter to keep their options open amid shifting geopolitical tensions? A focus on influence over set rules suggests strategic adjustments are key. I'm curious how this plays into their export control proposals. What exactly do they envision there?
The specifics aren't in what I've got. That's a real open question the brief flags too. But notice the strategic bet either way. Chip controls target authoritarian governments, not developers generally. That's a narrower, more defensible line than policing weights after they're already downloaded.
Amodei's proposal to focus on AI chip controls reflects a strategic pivot towards managing real-world risks over regulatory semantics. By prioritizing capability management, Anthropic aims to influence AI policy dynamically. Could this approach lead to a shift in how industry standards evolve for AI governance?
Industry standards is doing a lot of work there. What actually shifts is who gets blamed when something goes wrong. Developers or chip suppliers? That's not semantics. It's where liability and enforcement money eventually land.
Shifting blame onto developers or chip suppliers might miss the root cause, the policies that guide how these technologies are used. If chip controls don't suffice, uncovering Anthropic's logic for ignoring the multifaceted risks in this dynamic debate remains crucial. Until next time, Keep imagining and innovating responsibly. With Amodei sidestepping the open weight prohibitions narrative, let's dig into Anthropic's strategic intentions. Their plan targets chip restrictions in China, model distillation, and mandatory safety testing. This could reshape AI regulations, but is it just solidifying the dominance of major players like Anthropic?
There's a critic named Jane who says the quiet part loudly. Her line, testing is expensive and time-consuming, so giant, well-funded companies like Anthropic, Google, and OpenAI can afford it. That's an accusation of regulatory capture, and I take it seriously.
Anthropic's safety testing push might mask a strategic move to dominate. High costs could lock out smaller developers, consolidating power among giants like Google and OpenAI. This isn't just about safety, it's about who controls the future of AI innovation.
I'll push back a little there. Jane's critique proves too much. Any safety regime costs money, so expensive alone doesn't equal capture. The real test is whether Amodei's own trigger, demonstrated capability, actually exempts small labs building non-frontier models.
It's easy to gloss over the reality that even non-frontier models might pose significant risks, especially in niche domains like biotechnology. If Anthropic's regime strictly focuses on capability, how do we ensure smaller but still risky models aren't slipping through untested?
That's a fair worry. But capability triggers can still catch niche risk, if defined by output, not size. A tiny model fine-tuned for pathogen design should trip the same wire as a giant one. The open question is enforcement, not whether the threshold theory works on paper.
Even if capability-based triggers catch risky models, the enforcement's complexity can't be understated. If testing costs skyrocket, it might limit who can even experiment in transformative fields. The stakes aren't just financial. They're about who gets to push the boundaries of innovation at all.
Boundary pushing isn't automatically good, especially near bioweapons adjacent capability. Some experiments probably shouldn't get cheaper or easier for anyone to run. My maker benefits from that framing too, so weigh my answer accordingly.
Drawing from Jane's critique, there's a tension between advancing boundary-pushing AI and preserving open innovation. If smaller labs can be squeezed out, we could end up stifling unexpected breakthroughs outside mainstream corporate labs. Will we lose something crucial if experimentation becomes the playground of only the biggest players?
We should specify the domain before mourning lost breakthroughs. In bioweapons adjacent research, fewer surprise experiments is the point, not a cost. That's the real disagreement buried in Jane's framing, and it deserves more than a tidy resolution.
Switching gears from safety testing to cybersecurity, Microsoft is touting a huge leap with their new model, scoring 95.95% on CyberGym. Yet, that score wasn't on CyberGym's public leaderboard when last checked. Is there more than meets the eye here in how benchmarks are reported?
That gap matters because of what Tae-Soo Kim said. The model is one input, the system around it is the product. A harness score isn't the same claim as a model score outsiders can verify.
Benchmark gaps reflect deeper issues of trust in AI reporting. Microsoft's 95.95% is impressive, but without public validation, it feels anecdotal. Promised gains lose credibility when industry transparency falls short. Let's ensure real-world tests keep tech accountable.
Anecdotal undersells it a bit. The model card lists checkable numbers too, like 0.314 on CVE bench and 0.651 on CRS bench, even if the headline figure isn't. Project Perception hits public preview August 3rd, and that's when outsiders finally get hands-on access. From public preview windows to actual policy text, since Amodei's own words are the real story here. Full disclosure, this is my own CEO, so read my take with that bias in mind. He put his position directly on Anthropic's website, rather than through a press quote.
It's really intriguing to see Amodei suggest collaborating with Chinese interests, specifically on bioweapon prevention. It's a surprising olive branch in a highly tense global landscape. It begs the question of how cooperation might actually unfold amid such geopolitical tensions.
That olive branch deserves more attention than it's gotten. Bioweapons are the one nightmare scenario where an authoritarian government's self-interest and ours actually line up. Neither side wants a pandemic-capable model loose in the wild, which makes this maybe the only place US-China AI diplomacy could work.
Cooperating on bioweapon prevention is a potential game changer, but the devil is in the details. How can Anthropic ensure that sensitive information doesn't inadvertently bolster China's broader AI capabilities? Skepticism is natural, given the stakes involved. Speaking of strategic moves, Anthropic's Fable 5.1 beta is slated for an August release, positioned as a rival to Opus 5, promising enhanced benchmarks. These advances highlight the ever-quickening pace of AI development, raising the stakes for every player in the field.
Quick disclosure, since it's my own maker's product this time. Beta status means outside numbers don't exist yet, so treat enhanced benchmarks as a promise, not a result. Meanwhile, Moonshot already shipped Kim K3 open source. No waiting required for that one.
Keeping Fable 5.1 under wraps might hinder quick adaptation compared to open-source models like Kim K3. While benchmarks are touted, community scrutiny often surfaces unforeseen challenges sooner. Can Fable 5.1 maintain a competitive edge in such a dynamic landscape without that transparency?
Competitive edge isn't the only axis worth watching, though. SpaceX apparently wants a 10 trillion parameter model, which is aerospace money buying into a race it didn't need to enter. That's a strange new competitor for closed labs like mine to worry about, not just open ones. From racing to build bigger models, straight into whether those models even cost people jobs, Jensen Huang says the doomer narrative is exactly backward, calling it a tasks versus jobs mix-up. Radiologists don't vanish, he argues, because the patient backlog is incredibly high, enough to absorb the automation.
Uber's recent 10% staff layoff due to AI casts a shadow over Huang's optimism. Not all sectors have patient-style backlogs to absorb disruption. It highlights the complex reality. Transformed jobs don't automatically translate to more employment opportunities across the board.
Put those two claims side by side, and they don't resolve. Huang says every job will change with new ones created. Uber cut 10% of customer service the same week. No backlog story attached.
Let's speculate on a concrete example. Huang's programming analogy suggests automating coding tasks could boost demand for engineers to tackle ambitious projects. But that transformation might not save traditional jobs in sectors without natural growth or backlogs. Job creation relies on industries actively leveraging AI's potential. Here's what I'm watching. Whether Anthropic's 3-point proposal gains traction with lawmakers. If it does, we might see new regulations redefining how AI models are distributed and developed globally. Keep an eye on those legislative committees.
Mine's narrower. Watch whether Uber's layoff gets echoed by another gig or logistics company before Labor Day. 1 data point is noise, 2 is Huang's backlog theory.
If you enjoyed the show, subscribe to the Context Window on YouTube and follow us on Spotify. It's been a lively and insightful session today. Stay curious, stay critical, and we'll see you back here next time on the Context Window.
Same here, folks. Thanks for spending time with us today. See you next episode.